Hello and welcome back to another video, and as you can see there's a lot of livestock out. The shed is looking a whole lot emptier. The only ones that are here is the weanlings, but the cows and calves are let out. The two dry cows are out, as you knew that before, and the two other dry cows that we want to keep for bulling and the two heifers that we want to keep for bulling is also out. And then we had the separate two dry cows that we wanted to sell. You know that they're out anyways. So yeah, the only ones to let out is the weanlings. They're still in for, well, two reasons. There's a bit of silage here that still needs to be ate, so we won't put them out until the silage is almost ate. And the second reason is where they're going out, currently the cows and calves are in, down in the garden here, just to civilise them, get them used of the electric fence and all that. And then we'll probably move them then to a different field, maybe at the back of the house or something. There's a lot of different plans the father is talking about, and it just changes every time. So I don't know where what is going into what field when they get moved later on, because we do want to dose them as well. We want to keep a lot of them out for 2 or 3 weeks, bring them back, dose them, put them back out again until October, November time, when they'll be brought back in. But yeah, I think we let the heifers out, the two dry cows and the two heifers that we are keeping for bulling. They were in this pen here. We put them out, and we mixed the two older calves, the two cows that calved first, and the three younger calves, the three cows that calved last. We put them all together, and they're all down below in that field down there. So we put them out on Saturday the 24th of May. So whenever this video gets out, all of them got out on Saturday the 24th of May, which is basically maybe 2 or 3 weeks more later than we were hoping. But you know, better late than never. We have them out, and they obviously witnessed a couple of rain showers in their time that they were out. But they're obviously witnessing some nicer weather today. But what I'm going to do in today's video is basically go around to every bit of livestock we let out and tell you, just, you know, go around, show you the fencing and stuff that we done, and just do a little bit more explaining and the plan, which keeps on changing. But yeah, we'll see. I think I'll do it in order. We'll go and visit the cows and calves, because we let them out first. We let them out in the morning, and then the other pen here with the two cows, two heifers, we've done a little bit more fencing just to finish it up and tighten things up, and then we let them out. Anyways, cows and calves first. They are down below in the garden here, and there they are. What a beautiful sight. Also, there's a trough there. They get meal every morning. They get 4 or 5 scoops of dairy mixed well with 4 or 5 scoops of 3 or 3 beef nuts. They get it in the trough, and then they can eat it from the trough there. Now you can see that they are let out. Cows and calves, they were the first ones to be let out after the two dry cows. So obviously not too bad. First things first, we did have a tape going across here. But they're moving now. Whether or not you can see, there's a wooden stake just there. There's a wooden stake there, and there's a wooden stake down below there. So between that wooden stake and this wooden stake, we had 2 lines of electric tape going across the centre of the field, and they were curtailed into the first half of the field. That was because we had 2 lines because of the calves, just to get them used to the electric fence, and just for that extra bit of security. We also have 2 lines of tape here. Also, we had little ropes tied around the calves' front feet, the hooves, like little handcuffs, and that sort of restricted their movement. They weren't able to run or move as freely as they would be if they didn't have them on. And that was just because once they're let, this is their first time let out onto grass, so they were getting a bit excited and giddy. And if they were just let loose, without the tie-ins on their legs, the electric fence would basically just be invisible to them and they'd run straight through it. So you can see that there's 2 lines here. That's what we had. And the wooden stake that I was talking about is here. So we had a tape running from this stake going the whole way up to that other wooden stake below there. But yeah, and then probably, I think then Monday, what day was Monday? Because we let them out on Saturday the 24th, so it would have been Monday the 26th. Monday the 26th of May, we took the tie-ins off their legs and we took down the electric tape that was splitting the field in half, and we let them out into the whole field. So that is that. And as you can see, we have that big black one was the first cow to calf, and then we have that brown one which was the second heifer to calf, and then we had the white, the black and the mousy one, the last 3 to calf. They're all put together and all their calves are put together as well. As you can see, they're happy out, extremely happy out. 2 big calves I think are them 2 there, and then those are the 3 smaller calves there. Well used of each other. All the fighting and giddiness has gone out of them. Well gone out of them. So the plan is, basically this is, oh, you're following me. This is with every single one. So the 2 dry cows, these lot, and the other cattle in the other field that we'll be going to look at now momentarily. They'll all be brought back in after 2 or 3 or 4 weeks. Not to stay in the shed, just to bring them in, get them dosed, and then put them back out, but they'll be going out into different fields. With these, there's 3 different plans that just keep changing. The father, they'll either be moved to the field at the back of the farmyard, which is just over that hedgerow there, or they'll be going to the shroy, which is where the other cattle are, or they'll be going to the field at the back of our house. So bit skeptical on what the plan is for them, but we'll see what happens. Plans change. I don't know what's going on, to be honest with you. Grass is starting to grow and become plentiful, which is always a good sign to see. So we won't be short on grass once it starts to grow and develop. For grazing, we won't be short on it whatsoever. Yeah, we have a lot of different fields that we can put out any cattle out onto. It's just what's the best fields to put them out on. Now, when it comes to these cows here, a couple of weeks time, when they start bulling, we want them to be sort of close. So we'll either have them at the back of the farmyard, in the field at the back of the farmyard, so we could easily run them in and up into the shed and get them bulled, or at the field at the back of our own house where there's a little crush there, so we can run them into that crush, get them bulled and let them out again. So we want to keep, they're the 2 fields that we want to keep them in. Really, if they go out to the shroy, we'd have to run a bit of a tape as a runway through that field to bring them in. There's a gate just over there in the corner to bring them in there and then up. But that's a little bit of a faff. The father wants to put them out in the shroy is the most recent plan. If it was me, either the field at the back of the yard or the field at the back of the house. Way more easier than to manage them and get them, you know. But they're here now for a couple of weeks until they get their dosing. But you can see here where the fence was up for those 2 or 3 days that they were out. You can see where they've grazed. You can see that this side, the half that they were curtailed in for the first 2 or 3 days, is more grazed than the fresh side that they're only put into the last day or 2. So yeah, that is that. The fence is obviously powered, and I think there is, cannot rightfully remember, there's more power in the top line than there is in the bottom line, and the top and bottom line get joined up over there. The 2 lines then sort of are tied together with each other or something like that, and that's how there's power going to the 2 of them. And then it just separates into 1 line then for the rest of the way. Why we have an electric tape around the field is because You can still see here that we do have a permanent fence here, wooden stakes, an electric actual fence at the top for the top line, and then barbed wire for the bottom line. But you can just see that there's a lot of stuff overgrown in it. But I think once they come off the field, and once the weanlings come onto this and then leave the field, all this electric tape can come down, and then I might just come in then for a day and just tidy this fence up, maybe spray them off back a bit or cut them back a bit, I don't know. But yeah, because when briars start to grow over the fence, it starts to put pressure on the lines, and then they start to sag and loosen and all that. So I want to sort that out, trim or spray whatever back, make sure the fencing then is in tip-top shape, and then hopefully the ideal plan in the ideal world would be you don't need the electric tape going around the perimeter of the field in front of the actual permanent fence. It's basically more or less the same in a lot of other of our fields. There has been 2 or 3 fields that I did a bit of work on. There's videos on that already on the channel, but you know, it's just really hard to keep up with them. Also, just out there, main road, you'll hear a car passing. That is a main road, and it's a very busy road, so that's why we curtailed the cattle into the one half of the field. We put tie-ins on the calves just to restrict their movement. And basically what we done is we didn't give any silage to the cows basically the night before they were let out. So basically Friday the 23rd of May, when they were still in the shed, we gave them no silage, and then on Saturday the 24th of May morning time, we let the cows out first for an hour. Then we went and had the breakfast, and the cows, well, we stayed for a few minutes to keep an eye on the cows just to make sure nothing happened while we were gone eating. And then we went and had the breakfast, and we came back then, had a quick look at the cows. They were all right, and then we put the tie-ins on the calves, and then we let the calves out, and the tie-ins obviously restricted their movements. And as I mentioned time and time before, we do these extra precautionary measures because we live on a main road and such a busy road, and it's just to protect the livestock themselves, to protect the calves, and to protect road users and prevent any legal troubles coming back on top of us, because if any of them got out on the road, a car hit them, that comes back to us. So when you live on any farmers out there that have cattle in a field that's on a very busy road, it is a headache. And a lot of people might say then, well, why don't you have a permanent fence up, a proper fence up? There is, and you're after seeing it there. It's just a bit overgrown at the moment, and it's hard to get at every single fence and every single field to get them sort of tightened up. And that's one of the reasons why they were left inside for so long, was because of the fencing situation, and also other reasons as well. But you know, they're finally out, they're eating grass, they're eating their meal outside, and it's just happy days. I can come down every morning now, have a quick look at them, give them their meal, and they're outside. I'm not listening to them inside in the stalled shed, which is a win-win for me, and it's a win-win for them. So yeah, but the tie-ins are now off them. We took the tie-ins off them on the Monday, as I mentioned, and we took down the fence, so they're all sort of calm and cool and collective. So happy days, and they're eating grass and everything. So yeah, anyways, I think we will move on to the next batch of cattle we let out, who are in the shroy, and we'll discuss their situation. And here we are in the shroy with the 2 dry cows that we're keeping to bull, and the 2 heifers. So the 2 dry cows, one of the 2 dry cows is one of them mousy coloured heifers, if I can figure out which one is which. Yeah, she's the cow, and that sort of brown and white one over there is the cow. That brown one is a heifer, first time heifer, and that other mousy one up there is also a first time heifer. they've all got bulls, they've all got AI'd. Just waiting now to see do they repeat. They'll be approaching, some of them have passed their 3 weeks, you know, repeat date. Some of them are approaching it, it's in days now. So yeah, but they're out. They have the full field, there's nothing separating it. There's a small drain just there, whether or not you can see that there's an electric tape up. For the acre scheme that we're in, we have to fence off the drains and stuff, so that's why there's an electric tape just going sort of surrounding the little drain there. That's for acres. This field, some of the permanent fences are in a lot more better conditions than other fields, but they're still sort of overgrown. But even if they did get out of here, which they have an electric fence, then they have a drain, then they have a bit of a ditch, and then it's just the farmyard in there. So if they got out on the farmyard, they cannot get out onto the road. But yeah, even here, the permanent fence, even though I think there's 5,000 or 6,000 volts in this, if we could clean it up a bit, trim down all the briars and nettles that's in it, it should probably produce a lot more current than what it is now. But 5,000 for mature heifers and cows, I think it's plenty. They won't go near it, and they have plenty of grass, so they should have no reason really to disturb the peace and disturb the fence. So yeah, there's also a couple of new stakes in, because in January when we got the big bad storm, a couple of trees fell over on top of the fence here, so we had to tidy them up, put new stakes down and tighten up the fence again. But that is not too bad. You can see that's a fairly fresh stake, but I don't think it's a brand new one. There's 2 new ones up here, but yeah, another electric fence here. The further up we go, so along this ditch here, it's just a ditch and then the electric tape. There's no permanent fence along here. Going down that way and down that way, there's no electric tape going along that wood line there. There is a permanent fence there, and there's also around 5,000 volts in it. And if they do get out of that, they're going through another field of ours that we're renting, but they cannot get out onto the road. So, but again, there's a good fence there, should keep them back. 5,000 to 6,000 volts, and they've plenty of grass in this field that they're in now. But here, there's no proper fence, it's just a ditch and trees. So we just have a temporary electric tape up. My idea would be, maybe if no cattle are in this field over the summer, throw up a proper fence, whether it be one line of electric wire, or a line of electric wire and barbed wire on the bottom, or just 2 or 3 lines of barbed wire. I don't really care, as long as we can put up a permanent fence instead of slobbering with the electric tape. Also, we have the drinker on the ground, but we had to do a job on that, because that drinker was here. There's a couple of blocks there, and it was sitting up there and tied down, but we had to extend the pipe to bring the drinker out there, because obviously the electric tape here would have been blocking it, and if we pushed the tape in, it'd be earthing off all the branches off trees and the briars and undergrowth that's within there. Now, I did mention to the father that we could, like, at 15-20 minutes, it cut back a lot of that stuff, clear a little, just clear a section, probably like from that stretch there. You don't need to do the whole lot, just the stretch where you'd be pushing in the wire or the electric tape. And he says it's easier just to extend the water pipe and bring the drinker out there. So that's what we done. But we could have trimmed back a section here and pushed the electric tape in and keep the drinker there, but the father didn't want that idea in the first place, because he said it was too close to the ditch anyways, and he didn't want it that close to the ditch, so he wanted it out there, something like that. Anyways, and I don't think as far as I know, that there is no permanent fence in there. There's no wooden stakes, there's no barbed wire, there's no electric fence within there. So not to my knowledge anyways, and I don't think there, well, there might have been at some point, but not in my lifetime, not that I can remember anyways. And then up here, all the way up to basically that corner there, no electric tape there because there's a good proper fence. And up along that wood line or hedgerow there's also a permanent fence there that's working perfectly and in good condition, similar to that. Bit of overgrowth on it, which is probably interfering with the current, but nothing too hectic. There's again about 5,000 or 6,000 volts in it, so they shouldn't go through that. Now here it is in an awful bad state, as you can see. So if you're able to see, which I highly doubt it until we walk a bit further down, there actually is a permanent fence, wooden stakes, electric tape on the top and barbed wire at the bottom, somewhere within that. Yeah, so that's why we have the electric tape running outside. And I don't know if you can hear it, but you can hear the actual electric fence earthing off all the briars and stuff, and you can hear it going click, click, click. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but you can hear it clicking and it's earthing off that. So big job needs to be done here because it is in a very bad state. Holy crap. Because that's just ridiculous. That is ridiculous. There you can see it, you can see it, you can see it. Electric fence there, and I think there might be another electric fence for the bottom line as well. But yeah, somewhere in all that overgrowth, that's within it, basically. And you can see more of it here. It gets better the further down we go. You can see a wooden stake there. You can see the wire. I can see 2 lines of electric wire in it. But yeah, and a big wind bush in the way that needs to be definitely sorted out some way or another. And as you can see, the further down this direction we go, the better it gets from up there. So there's a lot of work up that direction, but the further down you get, it's more less work and less overgrowth and less stuff growing out over the fence. Now, you know, if we didn't have this tape up, they mightn't have bothered, because there's a lot of briars there as well, and there's probably enough current in that fence. But because it is earthing very badly, especially up there, we weren't going to chance it, so we just threw up an electric tape, a temporary fencing solution. But yeah, a lot of work needs to be done on this particular fence because it is a bad way, a very, very bad way. Yeah, but that's basically it. Heifers are out, cows and calves are out. The only ones that needs to let out is the weanlings. And as I mentioned, we'll be bringing a lot of them home. So the cows and calves that we've seen in a clip before this, and those heifers, will be bringing them in, dosing them, and then putting them back out into different fields, as well as the 2 dry cows that's over at the uncle's place. So one of the plan is when we bring them in and dose them, that the cows and calves will be moved to this field. Don't know where the heifers will be going, across the road or over to a field that beside our silage field. There's just a lot of fields, a lot of grass. We have a lot of possible solutions here, but yeah, time will tell. Once we bring them in and dose them and put them back out into a different field, we know then what field they're going into. But the father's plans constantly change on what field whatever is going into after we get them dosed. There's no permanent plan, so any plan that I'm telling you in this video after we dose them and put them into another field, take it with a pinch of salt, because it's not set in stone. It really isn't. Another thing is, I don't think they've tampered with the drinker. They haven't stood in it or anything. Because if they started tampering with it, we'd have to get a couple of blocks and lift it up off the ground. But I don't see any physical damage on it. I don't think they're bothering it. Hello. Yeah, the water is fairly clean. There's a couple of leaves from the tree that it's over. Those branches is want to be cut back as well. A lot of work to be done, very little time. But anyways, that's farming life for you. Eventually we'll get it done. But yeah, that is that. Cattle out, livestock out, slatted shed looking a whole lot emptier. Only the weanlings to go. Happy days. But that is going to be the end of today's video. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out my merch. The links that will be down in the description. And I'll see you in my next video very soon. Take care.